Welcome.
Hello, I'm Bob, and this is Let's Get Retro in association with RetroOnLim.com. So, after the live stream last week, where we all started off by pointing our guns at the screen, it was that gun show. I thought I'd do a quick bit of PlayStation 2 gun-related goodness. Guts and guns. If anyone knows what that quote is from, without googling, I will be quite amazed, and I will give you a free copy of Rise of the Robots. Unless you don't want that, which most people wouldn't. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, completely sidetracked now. PlayStation gun goodness. I'm going to have a look at, I'm going to show you my two guns that I have for the PlayStation. First is the GunCon, made by Namco. It's, as you can see, it says Namco there. If you're ever playing stuff like Point Blank or Time Crisis or any of those games, this is quite excellent. It's obviously designed for them. You've basically got two buttons, A and B, and a trigger for shooting of the bullets. Not a lot else I can say. Oh yeah, I can't tell you one other thing about this. It comes with a splitter for the PlayStation, and in turn, that has it's a composite splitter. So you got video, and then your left and right audio. And what happens is you plug your there's a little connection on the end of this, and it basically plugs into the video connector, and it uses it to synchronize the shots for the screen. So it means you get a bit more accuracy. So there you go. This doesn't work with the first game of choice I'm going to show you, which is not this. This is Die Hard Trilogy 2. It's Die Hard Trilogy 1 we're going to look at, and then at the gun shooting part, Dulles Airport part, and then we're going to have a look at the Die Hard Trilogy Part 2 at the shooting section of that, which this will work with. Now, this is my other gun. It's a Joytech. I don't think it has a name, it's just Joytech. It's a great little piece of kit, actually. I've never gotten the recoil part working. It's supposed to be able to have a recoil there, but it doesn't seem to work. This doesn't reload either this way, which would be really cool. You know, you have to do that kind of thing. You get tons of buttons. It's basically got, I don't know if you can see there, you've got an auto reload, auto fire, and then you've got a special A and B. Now, what this is about is there's a switch here, which you can't see because I'm not focusing properly. It basically will switch it between regular mode and GunCon mode, so it'll emulate a GunCon, and even comes with a little adapter that I mentioned earlier that connects into the back of the PlayStation. Or it'll work as a regular gun, which is good because Die Hard Trilogy 1 won't work with a GunCon. There is also, as I said, it has a recoil option, but I've never been able to get it working. I think that's to do with some PS2 games supported. It also has this. Now, what this does is you can get a pedal. It has a little headphone type connector on the end. It plugs in there, and then you can literally do the whole Time Crisis arcade thing where you step on it and he ducks out of the way, and then you release it and he jumps out and you're shooting a guys. Or I can't remember. The pedals involved in jumping out and going back in again. So I keep meaning to get hold of. There's a kit thing you can get. The typists use it on the old dictaphones where you have a pedal, like on a sewing machine, if you like, if you ever seen one of those, and it basically connects to the dictaphone machine, and they have their headphones on, they press the pedal down, and it plays it, and they release it, and it stops, and it's so they can, you know, listen to bits and type as they go. If I can get hold of an old one of those, I reckon it'll work with this, and it'll be Time Crisis awesome. The other thing, by the way, is it's got a safety. Which is pretty cool. It looks realistic looking. You don't get realistic looking guns. They're always crazy colours now, so you don't look like some sort of crazed shooter. I remember when I bought this, I got it from a very dodgy car boot sale, and I was driving out, and there was a police checkpoint down the road, just checking for tax or whatever, a guard at checkpoint. And I had this on top of a pile of games, and I remember thinking, if they look in the window, they're going to pull me over big time, because it was just, you know, you couldn't see the cable. This is just lying there. So. Looking if it wasn't pulled over, so it's all good. So anyway, as I said, we're going to look at Die Hard Trilogy 1 for this guy, and then 2 for this guy here. And I might do some Point Blank later on, but we'll just do some Die Hard. So, yippee-ki-yay! So, let's pull this back a bit. Okay, so apologies by the way, you're getting that little rolling bar there, I'm afraid, but I didn't really want to show it. Obviously I couldn't do this emulated, and I was having problems with pulling it in for some reason because of the splitter. So we're going camcorder today. Anyway, you get to see my gun. Oops. So, if you're not familiar with Die Hard Trilogy, it's a great game. It's great. It took it was Probe that did it, and it almost uses the Ocean software idea for games, where you basically split. Mercy, chef. No mercy. Oh, we got a Beretta. Yeah, basically, it takes the idea of splitting the 3 games up into 3 different genres. The terrorists would have shot them anyway. Let's get the MP5. Did I get it? I did indeed. So, sorry, it's enough. Let's get some tasty beverage there. Yeah, anyway, it's basically the idea is Die Hard is a sort of 3D kind of beat 'em up shooter kind of thing. Die Harder is a time crisis style game, and Die Hardest, as I call it, or Die Hard with a Vengeance is the rest of the world refer to it as, is a race, not quite a racing game, but you basically drive through New York trying to put out stop bombs, a bit like, didn't really happen much in the movie. You drive around in a taxi. I think he drove around in a taxi for a minute or two. I can't. Oh yeah, that was that. He had a BMW, didn't he? Oh yeah. So basically, as I said, it splits the games up into 3 sections. So I must do a proper review. But the first game, the Die Hard game, isn't fantastic. The Nakatomi Terrorist one isn't particularly great. But this is really cool, especially with the light gun. I might do a couple more PS1 light gun games. I'm a pretty good Judge Dredd one. Oh, I've got an explosive shotgun. Woo! Yippee-ki-yay! And welcome to the party, etc. As I mentioned, yeah, there is Die Hard Trilogy 2, which you're going to be looking at in a minute. And it followed the same format. It was more the same. Now, back then, when it was released, there was only 3 Die Hard films. So it got around that by just making up a story where John McClane went and hauled this to Vegas, and hilarity ensued. Ironically enough, there's 5 movies now. Is there 6? I like to think of the movie 16 Blocks as kind of an unmade, unofficial Die Hard movie. If you've ever seen it, it's got Bruce Willis and David Morrison. It's most definite as well. I can't remember, but it's really good. Anyway, sorry. 16 Blocks, great film. Not in any way relevant to this review. So anyway, yeah, Die Hard 2, which we'll look at in a minute, is set in Vegas. Not quite as good as the first game, but still pretty good. And the again does the same. Oh, not sure what that too close meant. You get bonuses for shooting the ceiling for some reason. So as I didn't explain previously and should have, those badges down the bottom are my lives. Oops. Casualties of war, acceptable losses, etc. And obviously you've got your ammo on the right, and up the top is... Oh, I've got rockets as well! Let's see if I can fire off. Oops, no, that's not one. No, that's not it either. Okay, so I have rockets, but sadly I don't think I have any way of firing them on this. I ran out of buttons. I have this horrible suspicion these are probably the programmers' faces that I'm shooting, on the bodies of the guys I'm shooting. There's a gun just out of reach there. If you're playing light gun games, a couple of things to bear in mind. Older light guns, like the Master System one definitely, and possibly the Zapper, don't work that well on big TVs. I have a lovely big Trinitron that I used for a lot of games, and still do actually. He was talking about your mum in a bad way, viewer. That's why I shot that hot civilian. It's all going to hell now. Yeah, so I had awful problems when I had my Master System set up with that TV. It just wasn't working. And eventually, what I discovered is that, oh, for God's sake, light guns prefer smaller screens. They also prefer having the contrast and the brightness up really high. So if you're having problems, contrast and what have you up really high, yippee-ki-yay, melon farmer, and smaller screens work better. I'm about 3 feet away from the screen. It's not a fantastic, distance, but it's not too bad. Anyway, listen, that was the first level of Die Hard Trilogy, shooting section. Die Harder. Best Christmas film ever, by the way, Die Hard 2. Okay, so we're going to jump to Die Hard Trilogy 2, and we're going to use Le Guncon. Bonjour, je m'appelle Bob. Je suis John McClane. Okay, that's basically about all I can really do. Oh, télécharger. It's the only other word of French I can really remember, which means download. So this is Die Hard Trilogy 2. The reason I'm saying all this stuff in French is that basically I picked this up at a car boot sale and went, yay, Die Hard Trilogy, and then I realised that I got in Die Hard Trilogy 2 and that it was in French, but it was boxed and, fun. And I think I had a copy of Die Hard Trilogy 1 anyway, so that was nice, which was nice. So we've a choice option between Ciné, which means film, Arcade, which means arcade, Entrapment, which means that someone offers to have... Oh, no, that's not it. Chargia Party? What? Curious, actually. Oh, okay, let's look at that in a minute. Anyway, let's go with the arcade. Oops, skis. So the way this works is you've got an option of you use your Guncon or your regular controller, or your regular gun rather. Well, not a regular gun because that shoots the screen. You could use a regular PlayStation gun or the Guncon. I'm using the Guncon, as I mentioned. And you also use a regular controller for moving things around. So John McClane essaie de rejoindre fate. Stuff happens. It's basically you're shooting prisoners because of plot. So, I don't know if you can hear that there, but it does some cool stuff in fairness. It's not as fluid as the original Die Hard Trilogy shooting bits, but there we go. Shot him in the nutsack. Yeah, it basically does some nice little things like the fact that it uses the second controller, the vibration on that will work, so. What did this pop out? Gooey! It's me with a gun. Yeah, basically, it follows the Time Crisis template of bad guys helpfully growing reticules on their tummies and that basically helps you target them. Aiming off screen, as I mentioned earlier, allows you to recharge, which I think just means recharge, but in this case it means reload. It's fast. You can shoot weapons if they appear for points and prizes. The plot was something along the lines of John McClane is in Vegas to help his buddy, and conspirings occur, and basically it's an excuse. It's the same template as the first Die Hard trilogy game. There's a running around bit, there's a driving around bit, and there's a shooting around bit. It's a pity that you don't get movie games much anymore. You get the odd one, but I mean, it used to be the case that any remotely action or sci-fi type game or movie out there would automatically get its own game. Ooh, right, my santé, which I think means some sort of deodorant, went up by 25%. to mention, I remember there being some cracking PlayStation 1, slow down there, shooters. I remember there was a decent Judge Dredd one actually, so I'm going to see if I can acquire that from somewhere. And I'll pick up a copy. Let's get the gun on the screen there for added guns. Die! Paper boxes, die! Oh, hang on, there was toilet rolls to be shooting there. Get out of that. Who do you think you are? Batman? It's okay, folks. I got the toilet rolls. There's a rat. I like the way John McClane opens up grates, you know, in air conditioning. Instead of kicking them in, he just shoots them with his gun. He shoots everything with his gun. Guns make everything better. It's even a good mousetrap. Oh, I died it. Recommencer le nouveau. Touché. Non. Here's a little cutscene because you're dead. It's a body bag. And it's John Doe, but they've said McClane because it's John McClane and he's dead. Okay, well there you go. Look, that was a quick look at some guns and some Die Hard Trilogy. Just a curiosity. Cine, is it the... I don't know if it's the cutscenes or, you know, you do them in order or something. Yes. Anyway, that's enough of that. So anyway, there you go. That was a look at some Die Hard and some guns. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and I shall see you next time.